I get it. Your 20s can be so unhinged. One second, you feel like you're one step away from your dream life. And the next, you feel like you're going to be stuck at your parents' house forever. Listen, that's not going to be happening to you, okay? Because in this side of YouTube, we're getting hotter and smarter. Welcome, everyone. This is a space for the girls who are demanding more from life by demanding more from themselves. Because hot and smart girls get what they want. And in this first episode of the Hotter and Smarter series, we're talking about 12 tips that will make you hotter and smarter, specifically for 2025. So get your pen and paper out. I have my notes with me. This first episode is rooted in self awareness. The tips I'm going to be giving are all about building your self concept and building an assured self. The more self aware you are, the hotter you are and the smarter you are, because you can make choices from your own eternal compass rather than leading off of what other people are telling you to do. So, self awareness is the ground level of this episode. With that being said, because this is a hotter and smarter series, highlight on the smarter, I'm going to be recommending a book for you. And the book I would say that is so important for you to read is The Untethered Soul by Michael Allen Singer. One of my favorite quotes from this book is, "The one who notices is already free." This is a heavy book to start with, and I felt like I'm gonna rip off the band-aid and give you what you need, because I wish someone gave me this book 10 years ago. This book is amazing because it just goes so deep into what you need to understand about your self concept. This book was obviously going viral at some point. Oprah's like talked about this book. And how did I come across this book? I think I came across this book from someone doing a review on TikTok, as you do. So I go on Audible and I started listening. And the first chapter alone, when they were diving into like self concept and how you see yourself and who you really are, and the soul that exists within you, the spirit that exists within you is observing, and how emotions come in and go. And I was just so shocked. I said I was not ready. I had to stop the book because I knew this was the kind of book where after you read it, you have no more excuses. Like, things shouldn't be triggering you or bothering you in the way that they are, because the information that you extract from this book is so poignant and practical that you have no more excuses. And I kind of was in the phase where I was like, I still need to complain. I still need to complain about stuff. So I'm not ready to like dive in. Literally, that's the honest truth. And then after, when I was ready to really like put all of that complaining and BS to the side, I got back into the book and I was like, yeah, it literally changed my psyche, changed my self concept. This book, if you're struggling with being triggered, if you struggle to let things go, let emotions flow, and maybe even going through a really tough time in life, this book kind of tells you how you need to be looking at things, and also why you may be holding on to things, and practical things you can actually do in order to release them and let them go. And I felt like this was a fitting book to give on the first episode of this Hotter and Smarter series, because I want you guys to have the information that you need. I don't want to fluff it. I don't want to make it like waste your time, because this book is honestly so good. And some of you may have already read this. If you haven't read this, you're welcome. My last point on this book is my favorite quote. "The one who notices is already free." When I heard that, it was so reassuring to me, because there is a lot of stuff I notice in my life and that I do, habits that I have, ways that I don't let go of certain things, why triggers. Sometimes when you notice these things, you're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get over this? Why am I still dealing with this? Why am I still triggered about this? Will I ever be free from being triggered from this particular thing, from these people saying this particular thing to me? And when I heard that quote, it reassured me, because I then realized I've already started doing the work, because self awareness, I noticed that I'm struggling with this, or I have this going on, or this is how I process things, or this is what I'm holding on to. It's like the first step. So it feels like so comforting to know that you're kind of already on your way to being free. And when you read this book, it really just reinforces that freedom is a lot closer than you think. Like, it's a lot more accessible than you like to believe. It's just the way you're presenting the work from where you are and where you want to be that is making it seem bigger, and seem more laborsome, when really and truly it's actually a step away. So I'm going to start off with the first 6 tips on being hot. Let's get into it. Okay. The first tip on getting hotter is stop self-deprecation. The way this annoys me so much, I cannot convey. I can't stand people that are consistently talking rubbish about themselves. And sometimes it gives off compliment fishing, like you're fishing for compliments. It gives off like, oh, I'm gonna say this so that everyone can like, give me a compliment. Sometimes, but then sometimes it just gives like you have low self-esteem. Why on earth are you talking rubbish about yourself in front of other people? Not only are you doing it in your head, but you're also saying it out of your mouth. Like, say you don't make manifest the things that you say. It is insane because you are the only vessel you have. You are living this one life for the first time and the only time, and you choose to chat rubbish about yourself. And I get it, like sometimes it can come across as like being humble, not taking yourself too seriously, ha ha ha. But no, there's ways of you not taking yourself too seriously that you don't have to resort to disrespecting yourself. I say that to say because it does not scream hot. It does not scream sexy. It gives off lack of confidence. It gives off low self-esteem. People pick up on those things. No one wants to hang around with someone who is emitting that energy. You need to emit confidence. You need to admit self-assured. You need to admit self-love, and that you are a part of this planet and you're in flow with this planet and you belong here. People are drawn to that kind of energy. You self-deprecating, I'll say, no, I'm so stupid, I'm so silly. It does not give, and it's not like you not being critical of yourself. Of course, there's ways of you being critical, but with kindness, because you are all you have. I roll my eyes internally so hard when someone does that because I don't want to be around someone like that. I want to be around people who love themselves because it's okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be this perfect specimen whereby you making a mistake is something that you need to let everyone know. No, it's giving insecure. Just relax. At the end of the day, people make mistakes and you are allowed to as well. It doesn't mean you need to call yourself out. And more time than not, especially on the environment you're kind of in, someone will call out your mistakes and you need to be able to be self-assured so that that doesn't penetrate. It's all about understanding you are worthy and you are enough. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. Point 2 tip is relish in the things that make you feel good and also take account of them. Like any little thing that makes you smile, gives you a light feeling, it gives you like butterflies in your stomach. Take a note of them because it's so important to know the things that make you happy, the little things. There could be extravagant things, from grand gestures that you do for yourself or someone else does for you, or it could be something really small like the way the sun feels on your skin. You love the way the leaves look at a certain time of a year, the pink blossoms bloom and it's spring. That does that make you feel really good, or is it when you have your robe on and it's like nighttime and you've done your whole like everything routine and you're in bed and you just feel good? Like, take a note of those things that make you feel good. Okay, was it the time where you made your like dinner from scratch, like, or was it this compliment that someone gave you? Write down the things that make you feel good and relish in them because it's all about reinforcing the fact that you are worthy to feel good and to have good things and experience good things. And the more you feed yourself that kind of information, it becomes your new norm. Your body gets used to it. It is so shocking to me that I meet some ladies, right? And they literally tell me, oh my God, I felt so icky when I got that compliment. They're not used to people complimenting them or they're not used to feeling good, which is insane to me. Some people feel guilty when they're resting. They can't just rest at peace. I used to be like this. This is when you're coming from an African household, let's be honest. You're chilling. Why are you chilling? Get up, there's work to be done, even though the work is done. I had to unlearn that and allow myself to enjoy just relaxing. Of course, like the stuff I've literally said are kind of the things that already make me feel good, but you need to take account of them because you're taking notes of the things that make you smile is so important because you need to keep a record of this because it's building up your identity and your self-concept and what you gravitate to. The more stuff that makes you feel good, then you can create an environment for you of the things that make you feel good, and that way you can, if you have your own apartment, for example, you can have the things in there that make you feel good that you obviously can have in there. Certain smells that you love, have them in your home, have them in your apartment, have them in your room, creating a sanctuary for yourself so you can have a space where you're free and open and it's full of all the things that give you joy. What was that thing on TikTok? Dopamine menu. See, that's what I'm talking about. My third tip on getting hotter is that you need to clean your space, like maintain an impeccable space and environment for yourself, because it's just going to affect your mental health, and it's going to also affect how much work you want to do, how much things you want to do, how much time you want to invest in yourself. Because if your space is clutter or it's messy, yes, you're able to be functional, but how functional? We're focusing on effectiveness, not just being able to get by. At the end of the day, we are well-rounded girls. We're trying to be as well-rounded as possible, and in order to be well-rounded, you need to aim for excellence. Of course, not perfection, but excellence is always the aim. And if you're aiming for excellence, the space around you needs to reflect that, because what's going on around you is kind of like a reflection of what's going on internally. It's not even kind of, it's a fact. For the neurodivergent girlies, for girls like me, okay, you got all of those dyslexia, ADHD, yeah, it's hard. It's so hard, especially when you're trying to manage so many things and you have a life and you have so much stuff you're going to do, especially if you go to school. Just try, even if it takes you a few days to get to that point, still try to keep it as perfect as possible, still try to keep it as clean as possible and as tidy as possible. Of course, there are some days, I listen to the balanced black girl podcast, right? And she was talking about people that have A- personalities, something along those lines. But she was just talking about organization and productivity, and you can be the person who doesn't, like, you keep things tidy, but you're not going to lose sleep if there's like one dish in the sink. You're not going to lose sleep if like there's a few clothes you need to like put away and they like in the corner. Like, it's okay. Like, at the end of the day, we're functioning human beings. We have things that we need to do, we have things that we need to get done. So allow yourself the space. Like, if things aren't completely perfect, it's okay, but keep it as impeccable as you can. Just try, especially when you're neurodivergent, because I know for me sometimes it takes me a few days. Like, if, let's say, I've traveled, right, and we all know when you're traveling it takes you like a week before to prepare, and then you travel, then you come back and it takes me like a week to unpack. It usually takes me 2 to 3 days to put everything away, do the laundry, get everything dried, put everything away, and like get it back to how the state was before I traveled. And I just give myself the grace. I used to beat myself up so much because I never got it done in 2 days. I used to get so frustrated. And it's like, calm down. You're literally dyslexic. It's okay, breathe. All right. Just take it as you can and just try and relax. I do have to say, the more everything's tidy, the more the kitchen's clean, the more my space is neat and everything goes into their own special place, the more freedom I have to create, the more time I have to make YouTube videos. If you have to like quickly pop out, like my clothes are organized, I can just grab a quick outfit and I can go. Instead of it taking me half an hour to look for this one top, I know exactly where it is, and I save time, my peace of mind. I'm able to create, I'm able to read the stuff I need to read, I am able to listen to my podcasts and feel at peace with life rather than life is over my head. I feel like I'm on top of life. Keep a clean space as much as you can. Of course, like, do your bed as soon as you wake up. My fourth tip on getting hotter is getting cute at home. Listen and listen good. I am the queen of this. And the thing that is so beautiful about doing that is because you're not doing it for anyone else, it's just for you, right? And at the end of the day, why are you presenting your best self for other people, but you can't present your best self for yourself? Because I know some people have the depiction of performance, like you are doing it for like quote unquote the male gaze, like you still have the male gaze even in your private space. None of that. This isn't even that. Like, this is really about you. This is really about how you see yourself. This is really about what you value and how you want to present yourself to yourself. At the end of the day, these are practices I love and I feel like gives me so much confidence, because at the end of the day, it's nothing more empowering to know that I look good, not because for a guy, for myself, I look good because this is my day to day, this is my everyday. Like, my friends always know this, they always make jokes about like my loungewear and my robes at home, because I love it. I really do love it, and it was never a performance thing. And I remember one time one of my friends telling me, "Oh my god, like, we were talking about just self-care routines," and I was just talking about a particular thing that I like to do, and she mentioned something along the lines of doing it, for a guy. She goes, "I didn't do that because no guy seeing me." I was taken aback, because there's no way you're telling me you do something nice that you consider like a self care luxury, And the only time you ever do that is when you have to go and see a guy, or you're going out with a guy, or that's insane to me. That's, again, so many things are insane to me, but that's insane to me. Like, you can't do certain things just because for men. Like, you have to do things for yourself. This is how you reinforce self-esteem. This is how you're telling yourself you're worthy and you deserve nice things, even when no one's looking, because you give that to yourself in your free time. You give that to yourself in your private space, in your sanctuary. There's nothing more sexy and hot when you're doing things just for yourself. And again, it affects how you move in the world, because you radiate confidence, you radiate good things, because you give that to yourself, because you know you deserve it. Essentially, get cute when you're at home. If it means like a full face and getting your hair done, then do that. If it means a clean girl skincare routine with like a nice lounge outfit, some fluffy slippers, and a nice green tea or lemon and ginger tea, do that. Have a self-care beauty ritual that you do and you alone needs to experience it. It doesn't have to be for anyone. Like, and it's important that you do this and you're consistent with it. And plus, it is very easy to be consistent with it, because it becomes something that you add to your dopamine menu again, and it makes you feel good. So you're going to do it every time. When Sundays hit, you're going to do your everything routine. When it's your day to day, you're going to do other things that make you feel good. So yeah, enjoy it. You deserve it. Of course, it doesn't have to be every day. Like, there's definitely some days where I'm just like, ugh, I can't be bothered. But I would always do one thing out of my routine on a day that I can't be bothered, just so that I just continue to remind myself. But again, it becomes addictive. Like, the more you do it, the easier it becomes to do, and the more of your routine it becomes, and therefore it's a habit. I'm telling you, how you treat yourself and how you care for yourself in private is going to 100% reflect how you are perceived in public, and it's going to radiate in public, and therefore people are going to see you differently. They're going to be like, oh my goodness, people can just tell. At the end of the day, it's the message you're giving to your brain that about yourself and what you deserve. And I have a lengthy beauty ritual that I take very seriously, and it's very private to me, and that time is like almost sacred time. It gives me life, it refills my cup, it makes me feel good, it makes me more confident, it makes me feel loved and cared for, like self-care. My fifth point on getting hotter is spend less time or no time with people that piss you off. People that get on your nerves, people that annoy you, just cut them off. Like, cut off the time you're spending with them. There is no need for you to be doing it unless it's something you literally can't get away from, like a boss or a family member. Do you know what I mean? In those cases, lessen the time you interact with them, which you can do. You can make active like ways to do that if you're smart enough to maneuver that situation. This is your one life. Why are you going to be entertaining people that consistently spike your stress levels or spike that annoyance in you? It's disrupting your nervous system. There's so much other things in life that's going to stress you out, that's going to annoy you. Life really does happen. So at the end of the day, certain things like that where you can actually control it to an extent, do it, cut them off. I literally have people tell me, oh, you always run away from issues, you always run away from problems. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Why would I? Like, I'm very articulate. I can communicate myself in a difficult situation. I can articulate what I need, what I don't need, and I'm not afraid of conflict. Like, let's not get that twisted. I genuinely encourage conflict, because if you and someone have a relationship where you're in a difficult time or difficult place, conflict can, once that conflict is then resolved, can actually deepen the connection you have with that person. If I think it's silly and it's stupid, trust and believe I'm not engaging. I am walking away. I'm running away. People, oh, you just run away. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This is your one life. You deserve to live it stress-free and happy. We live in a time that is so unlike any other time, where you can actually have control of your life. Best believe I'm going to put myself in the best possible places as much as possible, so that I'm not experiencing any level of stress, because stress then leads to hormonal imbalances can lead to other issues, and stress is literally proven to actually cause illnesses or make certain illnesses worse. Like, I'm protecting my peace. Yeah, literally protect your peace, because it can literally save your life. My final point on getting hotter is that you need to find your zest for life and be curious. Please, you need to understand that it's never that serious. Like, seriously, like, life is never that serious. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's serious, but it's not serious. Like, it's serious in the sense, like, your goals and your aspirations and you protecting yourself and, acquiring the things that make you happy is serious. Like, those are things you want to pursue with seriousness and passion and vivaciousness. But at the same time, vivaciousness, do it with a zest for life. Smell the flowers, look at the things around you that make you feel good. Like, it's never that serious. Be curious, ask questions, take that trip to this particular place, do that course. Like, I talked a bit about my experience in pageantry. Pageantry was one of those things that I did because I just had a zest for life. I was like, let's be curious, let's see what happens. Like, I do it and I win. And then I'm then given the opportunity to travel to Mexico, compete. I had the best time in Mexico. Again, the pageant was crazy for other reasons, like I told you. But at the end of the day, like, getting into that top 10, meeting those girls, like, the things we did, I can't lie, the pageant was so spot on when it came to like the extra activities that weren't involved in the rehearsal rooms, in the rehearsal hall, I should say. I experienced such an amazing community in Oaxaca, like, and that was me being curious and just seeing what would happen if I just did this thing. I have memories that I'm going to like cherish for life. I have friends that I absolutely adore and I find hilarious. I remember I ticked off one of the images on my mood board where I had a photo shoot with a horse, like in nature. Amazing. And that was solely built off of my curiosity for life and having my zest for life. And I feel like when you have that essence within you, you build up that habit of just being curious, just wanting to dive deep in life. My mentor tells me, feast on life. She tells me that, oh my God, every time she does that, I literally say yes, because that is exactly where I feel like I am in life. I'm just feasting on life. I want to eat it up, leave no crumbs. That kind of mentality is life changing when you move from that place of curiosity and zestiness for life, I remember there was times in my life was really difficult and felt very grey. And I didn't feel like I was doing anything that I wanted to do around the time of, being in like preparing for my GCSEs and stuff like that and doing my A levels. It was really difficult because I just felt like I was so far removed from who I am. And I took everything so seriously, everything was so intense. And now that I'm older, like, life was never that serious. We are on a floating rock in the middle of space, for God's sakes. Like, relax, literally relax. Do something that you want to do and see what happens. Say something that you feel like you want to say, see what happens. Don't hold yourself, because at the end of the day, it's about building the practices of you being true and honoring your impulses. This is something we do a lot in drama school, like honoring your impulses and seeing what happens. Like, just do that. And it's scary because the uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen is a bit scary. But at the end of the day, get comfortable with that feeling. That feeling of uncertainty is something you need to become acquainted with. Like, I love it. I love when I'm in that place now. Obviously, it's very scary, but at the same time, you want to get so used to being in that consistently because you are living very freely and very confidently in who you are. I feel like you probably have a lot more structure than you will like to admit. And the thought of you living more wildly and freely and confidently is scary because you're so structured. So you never have to worry about, oh my goodness, I'm going to make such a silly mistake and it's going to ruin my life. The things that you can't do that's going to ruin your life. Them. Just write them down and don't do those things. But at the end of the day, other little things in life, try to do one little thing a day that's going to just build back your excitement, your zest for life, and try something that you've always wanted to try. Be curious, ask questions, meet people. My curiosity has changed my life. That is what's going to make you so hot, because you're going from a true, authentic place. Again, people can feel the frequency of truth, and you're going to just be a lot more magnetic in that way. This is everyone's first time living life. No one's lived life before and come back again. This is everyone's first time and only time living life, and it's yours too. So why would you risk not saying the things you want to say, not doing the things you want to do, not being curious about the things that you really are wanting to try, wanting to do, or wanting to say? Just do it. It's your life. Thank you so much for watching episode 1, part 1 of the Hotter and Smarter series. The other 6 tips on how to get smarter are going to be on a separate video. So look out for that.